Okay, a lot of your course materials will be on Moodle, but also a lot of it will be on this website. This website is linked from Moodle. It's just nichols.edu and then this stuff up here. So there it is linked at the very top of your Moodle page to get to this website. And you'll find here everything that is public to the course. So everything that's not specific to you, like your grades and your quizzes and stuff like that. So I'm going to step through this. I'm not going to read everything, but I just want to point it out to you. These are my office hours. You can find me definitely in my office during these times. On the off chance that I'm not in my office, I will leave a note, or I'll try to send you guys an email, but I'm almost always there if I'm not in class. So I usually leave at 3, so if you don't come before 3, then sorry. If you do need to see me at some other time, just please let me know. This is an online course, so of course there is no expectation that you see me except for the exams. But I find that often, if you're having trouble, it's a lot easier if I can sit down with you face to face. And practically all of you are taking classes on campus, and so there is that possibility for us to sit down. Turn around a lot of students who have come into a course and they start making D's and F's, and then they turn around and they come out with a C or a B or even an A. So let me do my job to help you in this course. I have the syllabus here, and we need to go through this for just a few minutes, but I'm not going to do the whole thing. I just want you to take this and you read through it on your own. This is the course. This is the class workbook that you'll need. I'll show you that in just a bit. You will find the lectures for this. This class runs in parallel to the in-class section. So basically all the in-class stuff that we do, I've tried to recreate it here online. Now, it's not the same, of course, because you're not sitting there face to face and I can't see how you're doing, but I will be using quizzes and various assessments and assignments to help me and to help you keep track of what you're doing in the course. These are our outcome objectives. I'll need you to read that. These are our sections that we'll cover. There's the drop date, Friday, 23rd October. I think I've scheduled it so we have 3 exams, 3 of the 4 exams by the time the drop date comes. So if you're not doing well, you'll definitely know by the drop date. This is our testing policy, I guess. We have 4 exams in this class, and they're all scheduled for particular dates at a particular time. I think I've scheduled them at 1:30 on these dates. If you're not able to make those times, then you're allowed a 3-day window in which to take the exam. So for example, let's say we have this exam on Friday, the 4th of September at 1:30. I prefer that you come at that time and take the exam, and I'll have that time set aside for the entire class, 1:30 to 2:30. Right? I forget what time. I'll let you know. But anyway, I prefer that you come at that time and set up the exam and take it then. However, I know that some of you have class, some of you have work, some of you don't live in town, and so what I do is I set up this 3-day window. Say, for example, if you can't make this one, then you could come on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, right, at any time that we agree upon. Obviously, if I'm in class, you can't come, but we can come at some agreed upon time. However, you need to contact me at least 3 days in advance. So for example, let's say that you wanted to take it on Thursday the 3rd of September. That means that you would need to contact me on Tuesday. So that's 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay, so you need to contact me well in advance. I prefer really the previous week. If you know that you're not going to be able to make it, then you go ahead and contact me and tell me, hey, I'm not going to be able to make that exam time. Can we set up a different time? And I'll say absolutely. If you're not on campus, you can take it at an approved testing center. I think I've already talked to, I think just one of you that's actually going to be taking the class or taking the test off campus. So if you're going to be doing that, please contact me now, and we'll set up an approved testing center for you. Each section does have homework, and I'll show you that on the website. I don't take up the homework, but the exams are heavily based on the homework. So doing that homework will help you in preparing for the exam. And then you also do have a participation grade. And I'll show you this link in just a bit, but you take these online quizzes of sort, all right, that are really just there to show me that you have review the material, that you cover the material. What I really recommend is that as you follow the online lectures, and when this question arises in the workbook, that you pause the video and you try to answer the question. Listen, we'll come back to this and I'll describe what this means, but this is 25 points for participation. In addition to that, you'll have quizzes every Friday. Now, that means that you're really going to have two things due on Friday. Every single Friday, you'll have a quiz on Moodle, and you'll have this participation points, which will be another quiz that you'll just take from the website. So that gives you a total of 625 points. Each exam counts 100 points, and then the final exam is worth 150 points, and then class participation credit comprises 25 points, and quizzes are worth 50 points. It's percentage-based, A, B, C, D, E, and F as that, and then I give you an example here. I also have a calculator on the website that allows you to just put in some numbers and play around with your grade. Let me also make out one more point about this Quiz Friday. I will be sending notices about these just to remind you about the quizzes that are due, but you're going to have it due every Friday, frankly, and I'll send you an email every, say, Thursday telling you that these quizzes are due. You will only have one attempt for these quizzes. You'll only have one attempt for these quizzes, and whatever grade you get on, that's what you get. So you'll get some percentage for that. At the end, you'll get that percentage of 50 points. Okay, so once again, those quizzes are worth a total of 50 points. You'll have them every Friday, and you only get one attempt. If you've had me before, that's a little bit different than I've done before. In the past, I've allowed you multiple attempts on them. But my thinking here is that as I talked to students last semester, they said that these quizzes really help them to prepare for the exams. However, when I give you lots of attempts, I don't think that you really try that hard. So what I want you to do is to put a little more effort into those quizzes, and just allowing you one attempt and adding a little extra weight to it will sort of motivate you to put a little extra bit of effort. And that little bit of extra effort will really help you on the exams. Honestly, you know what? The quizzes don't really count that much. They're not going to change your grade very much one way or the other. So this is supposed to be a nice, easy place for you to practice for those exams. Okay, let's go back. That's the syllabus. We'll revisit some of those things. I have an addendum here. It talks about various things about what we're going to do in case of a hurricane or natural disaster, or if you have a learning disability. I'll leave that to look at yourself. These are some advice from previous students about what they did to make an A. I'll tell you what they did. They did the homework, and they practiced the old exams, and they kept up with the notes. All right, you'll see a lot of this. I didn't have online when I last updated this, but a lot of it's coming to class. But for you, it's like keeping up with the online lectures. That means every Friday, make sure that you've covered everything up to what's covered on that quiz. Okay? Lots of quizzes in this class. That's to help you keep up with the material. If you put it all off to the exam, sorry, you're not going to do very well. Okay, so I'll leave that for you to read through it. Honors credit. If you wish to get honors credit in this class, take a look at this. There's a petition. Let's see. This is just an Excel spreadsheet you can download. And it allows you to play around with your grade. All right. Let me zoom in a little bit to make this bigger. So what this does, it shows all the different things. So here we have our 4 exams. They each have a maximum of 100 points. There's the finals, 150 points. That's your online participation credit. And then these are those Moodle quizzes. So notice here, like the class participation or the online participation for you guys, and the quizzes are only worth 12 percentage points. So if you didn't do any of that, you didn't do any of it, then you would still get an 88% in the class. Okay, so they don't really count that much, and I fully expect that if you put a nominal amount of effort in it, that you'll get most of those points. Okay, but the more effort you put into it, then the better you'll do on these exams. And these exams carry the most weight in the class, and then of course the final. The final will be cumulative, and we'll talk more about that later. So what you can do here is you can come in, and these are your grades, and you can change the numbers up. So let's say I don't make a 60, I make 100%, and that would be great. Then your final average would be an 83.5, which is a B for you. for example. Okay, that's your grade calculator. This is a workbook that you'll be using in the class. I don't require anything for the class, okay, but I think students have really found this very useful in order to help them keep track of what's going on inside the class. Let me just show you. Fortunately, it's only available on Amazon, the bookstore, because it's Barnes & Noble won't sell it. What this is it's like skeleton notes. So I'll go through and I'll show you the lectures in just a bit, but I'll go through and fill these out on the lectures. And what you can do is you can follow along. And occasionally you'll come to these questions. These questions make up your online participation. So these questions are on a separate form on the website. And as you're going through the book, as you're going through the online lectures, I recommend that you pause and you take these questions and you answer them on the website. That's really the best way to approach this class. Watch the lectures, go through it, whenever you can. They're not that long, maybe a couple hours a week of lecture, or an hour a week maybe even, and then answer these questions as you go along. Okay, so very useful. These are some more questions that you'll see in the online lecture. Very useful tool for you to have. I really recommend that you get it. We'll have various concept tests. These are part of those online participation quizzes. They're not here right now, but as we finish them, I'll put them up here so you'll have the solutions for those. And now this is where you go to get the online participation quizzes. So for example, the student introductions quiz isn't up yet. I'll have it up soon. But let's say the Chapter 1 quiz. This is our Chapter 1 quiz. You can go, you put in your first and your last name and your section, and then you go through. Remember that question that we saw back in the workbook? There it is again. It's the same question. I recommend that you answer it in your workbook, and after you've answered all those questions, you just come here and you just click on whatever answer you want and go through one by one. These are all in that workbook, and then these are those questions at the end, those concept test questions, and then answer these questions. And then when you get to the end of that, you just click submit, and boom, you're done for the week. Now, you can submit as many as you want. If you submit 100 submissions to this, I'm just going to take the most recent. So if you mess up or whatever, or you decide you don't want to do it, just don't worry about it. Just resubmit your answers, and I'll take the most recent. I will have the dates, the due dates for these, and then as those due dates pass, I'll put a solution up to that, a screencast that will cover the answers to the questions. Now, the material is covered here. These are just screencasts of me going through the notes. All right, I go through and I explain, I work through examples and what have you. And let's see, it looks like actually this one's 15 minutes. They're usually a bit shorter than that, but they're there to help you assimilate the material and also to offer you practice. Okay, so this is what we do in class. Also, as you're watching those screencasts, little videos will pop up. These are videos that I might show in class, or just something that is a little bit extra. Usually those things aren't covered on the test, but sometimes they are, and I'll point it out when they are covered on the tests. Often these are just things sort of to stimulate interest in the material or interesting things that pop up. So these 4 screencasts, 1, 2, 3, 4, those will all be covered on the Chapter 1 quiz. I'll have the date up soon. This might be, no, actually this will be due probably the next Friday. We'll see. It might be due Friday, 21st of August. I'll let you know soon. Okay, so these are really useful. These are old exams. I have all the old exams that I've ever given. So for example, this is exam 1 from last fall. You can get that, print it out, practice it. In the workbook, actually, there are also some old exams that are from this website. And then if you click on the video, it'll take you to solutions, screencast solutions for those exams. This is your homework assignment. These are in your workbook. You can also download a PDF of that homework here. These are good practice. And then if you go here, this will give you a solution, a video solution, or you can just go here and it shows you chapters 1 through 10 for that homework. Occasionally, if I had a mistake, I'll have a note that will pop up on that homework. You'll see those as you go through. These are screencasts. Again, these are just all those links that were back on that online quiz site. These are screencasts for all the different topics that you'll cover. Looks like we have 61 screencasts, each of which range from 5 minutes to 15 minutes. these are help sessions. As I have help sessions, if you're not able to attend the help session, I'll post them here. Okay, now there are also some online textbooks. I do not require you to buy a textbook. I recommend that you buy the workbook. I find that very useful, and students have told me that it's extremely useful for them to practice in the course and to do well in the course. In the past, I've required textbooks, and I found that students just haven't really used them very much. But I understand that some of you are really textbook kind of people. In fact, I'm a textbook kind of person, and especially in an online class, I would find a textbook very useful. And so what I have are a few options for you. If you really want to buy a textbook, let me know. Shoot me an email, and I'll send you some really low-cost options that you can purchase. For example, the Saraway College Physics is an excellent book, and you can buy an old edition, so you'll probably be able to pick it up for less than $20. But this is a free textbook. This is through Rice University called OpenStax, and they have a physics book that you can either download as a PDF, you can access their web version, or if you want to purchase a copy, I think they're about $50. It's an excellent book. I have a few books that you might be able to borrow if you promise to return them undamaged. You may borrow one. I know maybe 3 or 4 of you are textbook kind of people, and if that's you, then please come see me, shoot me an email or whatever, and we'll get you set up with something. So this is the best book. There are a few other online resources here, but I find that OpenStax book is the best, and I follow it roughly in the order that its chapters are laid out. Okay, let's see. I think that's all for now. Remember, the big things are every Friday you're going to have 2 quizzes. You'll have a Moodle quiz, and then you'll have that online participation quiz. The Moodle quiz, of course, will be on Moodle, and it'll come up as an announcement. That online participation quiz will be on this site right here. Then you have your exams. Your exams are very important to the class. They're going to really sort of define your grade. They're on these dates, and I forget the time. I think it was 1:30 or 2. I think it was 1:30. I will announce that well in advance to let you know. And then, of course, the final. And that's it. All right. Again, it is my job to help you succeed in this class. So please let me do my job. My goal this semester is to close the gap between the online and the in-class section. In the past, the online section has scored, on average, about 10 points lower than the in-class section. That doesn't mean that I haven't had A's and B's in the online section. I absolutely have had students make A's and B's. In fact, some of my best students have been the online students. But on average, the online students do not do as well. That's typical, and that's found across all disciplines. But I would love to lessen that gap of 10 points to, say, 5 points, to pull up the online student, say, 5 points, so they're only scoring maybe 5 points. You know, shoot, let's just go ahead and say that our goal is that you guys will score just as well as the folks in the in-class section. Because you're the same students. You know, I think you're just as smart, just as capable as those in-class students. The thing is, when you take an online class, you sort of have to make time for it every single day. You need to be setting aside 30 minutes every single day, or an hour every single day, because the in-class students, they have 3 hours set aside every week, and then they're setting aside time outside of class. So you need to find time in your schedule, 3 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock at night, whatever you need to do to set aside time every single day. Remember, that's our goal. Is we want you guys to do just as well as those in the in-class section. And you know what? I would love to have no D's or F's too. Can we? You think we can agree on that? I think we can agree on that. Let's try for that. And I really would like to see that happen this semester.